And it just kind of gives you an insight that these farms are very provincial. You have to remember, okay, let's try this again. My objectives tonight is just to give you a short history of pearls, the mullets, saltwater versus freshwater pearls, and what are the characteristics of pearls when we're looking at them that we should be really focusing on, as well as the evaluation of pearls, and that's going to be the hands-on part. So I'm going to try to get through the information as soon as possible so that we can get through the pearls and start looking at yours, and so that you can determine a good pearl from a not so good pearl, and what are the factors involved, and what is the factor that becomes a priority factor when you're looking at pearls. I don't expect people to take notes, of course. Put down the pen. Pearls is the only organic gem that we have. It is also the oldest gem that the humankind started using many, many years ago. So when you look at the history of pearls, we can go back 2,300 years to China, in which they uncovered documents in which mother of the pearls were used and jewelry, and one was a mabe pearl of a Buddha from 2300 BC. 4,000 years ago, pearls were considered precious. In the Middle East, what was uncovered was a fresco of 2 turtle doves that go back to 1st to 3rd century AD. But what makes it interesting is the turtle doves, as you notice, have a string of pearls between their mouths to attach them as lovers. And around the fresco are also pearls. So we know that early on, pearls were still considered famous gems and people wanted them. They obsessed about them. Yeah, they obsessed about the pearls. This pearl I think is interesting. I saw this when I was at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And I went chasing through the museum during Christmas trying to find the room that had this pendant. And I have to say, I must have gone through the room 6,000 times, not realizing that that room that had such a tiny little exhibit had the pearl I was looking for. This Baroque pearl dates back to the 16th century, or 1534 to be exact. It was created in Spain. This Baroque pearl is about 30 millimeters. It has a face, a human face, and then a sea tail, or a fish tail. Now this is interesting because not everybody could afford something like this. We're talking the royalty. We're talking people who could afford this, and only those people. The peasants, the middle class, whatever the caste system, it was royalty who coveted these pearls. As I look at my friend, Elizabeth Taylor coveted pearls, but she also coveted a lot of other jewelry.
For sure.
This is the Pellegrino pearl. This was found in Panama, shipped over to Europe, and it was King Philip of Spain who gave it to Mary Tudor, who is the stepsister of Elizabeth. When Mary Tudor died, and I'm sorry to say, Elizabeth, who lusted after pearls, had 3,000 gowns crusted with natural pearls, wanted this pearl. And Philip, who had proposed to her and was turned down, said, "Are you kidding me? I'm not going to give you this pearl. It's going to my daughter-in-law." Hence the pearl. It goes on through to Napoleon's time and then is picked up later on. But this has been a coveted pearl for many, many years. And in 1969, we have Richard Burton buying the pearl for $37,000. Okay? Elizabeth Taylor dies 2011. Her whole estate goes up for sale. It's up for auction. And what do we find? The Pellegrino pearl now sells for $11.8 million in that time. 1, because of the pedigree, 2, because it's natural, 3, because of the size. But that pearl now, we have no idea where it is. Somebody bought it anonymously, and it's gone. But what's interesting, again, we continue to see pearls as being that of royalty. Only the rich could have it, and in China, only the imperial family could use the pearl. My friend in the back has a museum piece, and this is a robe that was made for the Emperor of China. Come forward. But the main thing to take away from this is the robe that she is wearing has the dragon, but in it we have the fire pearl. So we know Chinese loved pearls, and the royal imperial and the imperial family of China, going back thousands of years, wanted pearls for themselves. And you can turn around, and this is all hand woven and it's weaved, so it's put together like a puzzle.
Terry, can she stand in the light?
Stand in the light.
Oh, they want to see you instead of me. Okay. Yeah, now you can turn around. Now you can turn around.
There we go.
So here we have the dragon, the imperial sign of the Qing dynasty. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. And then we've got the pearls here. And this is the fire pearl. This is pretty significant because after the fall of the dynasty, then you have the communists taking over, and pearls are now, they were taken away, they were sold, if not destroyed. But this antique piece is something to behold.
And used for medicine. Just the Chinese pearls.
Yeah. But also what's interesting is that, you're not going to see this, so you have to come up close. But the buttons on this are solid gold. I love it. I love it. Thank you. So now we get an idea of just how important pearls are, what their place in history is, what makes them special, who coveted them, and it wasn't just the imperial family and the royal family, it was the common people like me and you. We wanted them. So, what happens? Mikimoto comes to town. In the 1893 to 96, Mikimoto is the first one to culture a pearl. This is big. This had never been done before. His idea is, I wonder if I can bring the pearl that royalty has had and bring it to other women. And he does. Then in 1905, he uses the first time a mantle, which is part of the tissue of an oyster, takes a cut of it, places it with a nucleus, and he comes up with a round pearl. Now this wasn't just Mikimoto. There was also Nishikawa and Mies who had done the same thing. But in 1908, what happens is that he blows the world away and he gets the patent for the round pearl. And that what separates him from the others is round pearl now is the gold standard of what a pearl is going to be. If it's not round and it's not perfect and it's off round, then it doesn't really matter because it has to be perfectly round in order to make it the elite pearl. And it was Mikimoto who did that, and he did it big time. He went to court in France and had to fight Leonard Rosenthal about the pearl because Leonard Rosenthal thought that the natural pearl was the only pearl that could be sold and anything else was a fake. And he fought tooth and nail and said the cultured pearl that this Chinese guy is selling is a fake. However, he had the backings of people. He had Cartier behind him, he had Chanel behind him, and with that he won. So that his cultured pearl now, in 1926, is able to become on equal terms with the natural pearl. He went into full production in 1916, and by 1938, he is now producing over 11 million pearls for people. And people love them. So who did most for the cultured pearl business? None other